shopaholic, in today's tutorial of the Morphe x JACLYN Hill The Vault palettes. I have created 4 glam looks using only the shades on these palettes except the occasional brow bone highlighter. I'm gonna put all 4 of the tutorials in this video, so kindly check the timestamps in case you are just interested in a specific tutorial of the palette. If you're new here on this channel, I hope you consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell, becoming an F-bombshell, because I give makeup tricks on hooded eyes all day long. I was thinking of creating more everyday looks with this set. Let me know if you're interested in that one and I will surely make it for you, as long as you let me know. If you don't let me know, I won't go through this again. Enough of this intro, let's go see some action. Okay, we are going in with Dark Magic. First, we're gonna put the cream color called Poof all over the lid up to the brow bone as our base. After we lay that down, we're gonna move on to this shade called Shh. With this big fluffy brush, we are just gonna put that all over the lid, almost up to the brow bone, almost like a transition shade. Now we're moving on to this spooky army green called Potion, and we're gonna put that on our crease, a little bit lower than our transition shade Shh. So this is Potion, and we're gonna put that here, around. Intensify, intensify, intensify. Next, we're moving in with a concealer, and this is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the shade Light 14, and I'll be using that with a tiny, thin concealer brush. And we watch Peter Mon while it dries.
She posted it 2 days ago, and I was kind of like, okay.
Next, we put on powder on the outer and the inner portion of the cut crease. With a pointy brush, we're moving to inside job, and we're gonna put that on the inner and the outer corners. That's going on the outer corner and the inner corner. Wider reach on top and then thinning out at the bottom. Now you've got the middle bit blank. We are moving in with the wet brush to the shade called Power Cut, and this is a shimmer. And we're gonna put that smack in the middle. Let me see if the finger will do it more justice. I think so. You've got more pigment with the finger. And I don't have nail polish. Woe is me. We are gonna retouch and fix the shape of our halo. We're gonna move that around the shimmer. We're going back to the transition shade called Shh, and we're gonna smoke that out underneath our eyes. With a flat shader brush, we're dipping into this blue teal color called Busted, and we are gonna smoke that up near our lash line. When worn on the eyes, Busted and inside job looks the same. Strange. I'm gonna put Busted here also, the very corner, to tie the two ends together. With a very, very skinny brush, I'm gonna take the shade called Temptress, the very black shade, and I'm gonna go over the outline with it, just for the added contrast. And we're gonna add a little black as well underneath the eyelash. There you go, that's the eyeshadow look done. I will be back with mascara, eyelashes, and eyeliner. See you later. We are now going to be playing with the Ring the Alarm palette, and as you can see, there isn't a lot of transition shades to choose from, so we are going to start with a shade called Rush. And I'm going to put that from the base to the crease to the almost the brow bone. And because I don't think this was meant to be used as a transition shade, but there isn't any other, so we are going to stick with that. And we're going to use that light-handedly. Next, we're gonna take that maroon shade called Framed, and we're gonna put that on our crease. So we're gonna take that lower than the shade called Rush, and we're gonna use windshield wiping motions. I'm taking mine a little bit higher than my actual crease because I have hooded eyes, and that will give us the illusion of bigger eyes. Then I'm gonna be cutting the crease using a skinny concealer brush and ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the shade Light 14. There you go, our eye look is done. Just kidding. We're gonna be working now with the shimmer, so I'm gonna be taking a small damp brush in the shade called Lolly. I'm gonna try that with my finger. Yeah, finger works best. I'm gonna do the second half with a shade called Bomb Ass. This really attractive red shimmer shade. Red shimmer shade. Then I'm just gonna blend in that area where the two meet. Then I'm gonna take a slim pencil brush and I'm gonna dip into this shade called Siren, which looks like a satin. I'm just gonna put that on the edges of the eyes. Now going back to an even skinnier brush, we are dipping back into Framed and we are just gonna outline that crease for further definition. It is now time to smoke out the lash line and we are going back to Bomb Ass, the red shimmer, and we're gonna give ourselves eye infection realness. Then we're gonna go back to Lolly and we are gonna place that on the inner half of the lower lash line. Then we're gonna go back to the dark purple shade and we are just going to line our lower lash line more closely. Finally, we are just gonna use that gorgeous gold shade called On Camera as our inner corner highlights. And there you go, that is our eyeshadow look done. Let me just put on my eyeliner, mascara, and eyelashes, and I'm coming back for the final look. And now we're gonna be diving into the Bling Boss palette, these purple hues. First, we're gonna go in with a damp brush in the shade called Gem, which is the really nice, vibrant purple in the palette. And I'm gonna put that all over my nice. So we're just gonna create that crease or half moon shape with that shade called Gem. Then we're gonna go to this shade called Sparks. And we're gonna buff that out starting from the edge of that purple. It's looking a little bit like I got punched in the eye right now, but I promise you it's gonna look very glam after. Finally, we're moving on to the shade called Hush Hush, which looks like an old rose color. And we are gonna put that with a big fluffy brush at the edge of that Sparks, just to make it appear like it's gradient. Next, we're going to the shade called Rockstar to smoke up our under eye. Then we're going in with the shade called Bling Bling with a damp small brush, and we are gonna put that on the inner half of our under eye. Finally, we are dipping into this dark shimmer shade called Berry Treasure, and we are gonna be putting that on the outer corners of our eyes. We're also gonna put it near our lash line. There you go, everybody. That is our eyeshadow look done. I'm gonna be back with my eyeliner, mascara, highlighter, and false eyelashes, and I'll be right back. Now we are about to play with the Armed and Gorgeous palette, which apparently is the most popular one among the four. First, we are going in with a platinum white color called VIP, and we're gonna highlight the brow bones with this first. I know that this is an unusual first step, but I prefer the brow bone highlight to be a little bit buried under the transition shade instead of on top of the transition shade. First, we are gonna start with a shade called Access, which is the shade that all the other beauty gurus start with, so we are jumping in on that bandwagon. Using a big fluffy brush, we are just gonna put that from the crease all the way up to almost our disco ball brow bone. We're really gonna pack on that mustard shade so it will really shine through. We're gonna be taking the shade called Secure, which is a bright orange shade, and we are gonna be putting that on the crease lower than the mustard shade called Access. Now we're gonna cut my crease with my ColourPop No Filter Concealer in shade called Light 14 and my MAC 194 concealer brush. So I'm gonna take that concealer higher than my actual lid. to create an illusion of a bigger eyelid because we are sorely lacking in the eyelid department. Not complaining, just making solutions. After the concealer has dried up, we are just going to put a little bit of loose powder on the edges of that to mattify the edges because we're going to put a matte color in that area. Next, I'll be taking this shimmery bronzy shade called Classified. And I'm going to be putting that all over my lid. Next, we're filling in the ends of each corners back to the shade called Secure. And we're going to fill that in here and on the inner corner. Then we're moving into the darkest shade called Prowl, which is this chocolate brown. And we're going to put that on the outermost edges of our eyes. Then we're going to put that on the edge of our eye as well, like the outline of our inner V. Finally, we are going to dip our finger in the shade called Coin, which is this bright yellow gold. And we're going to put that right smack in the middle of our shimmer as an accent. Then we will just retouch the outlines. We are moving into our under eye shadow and we're going to take the shade called Prowl again, which is the dark chocolate brown, from the edge of our upper eye shadow down to our lash line. Then we're going to smoke that out further with a shade called Secure. We are just going to blur the edges of Prowl and connect it to the upper shadow as well. Finally, we are moving back to the platinum shimmer shade called VIP and we're going to be highlighting the inner corners of our eyes. There you go, everybody. That is the eyeshadow look done. I'm just going to put on my eyeliner, mascara, and false eyelashes and the rest of my face, and I'll be right back for the final look. Those were the glam looks that I was able to create using the 4 palettes of the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill, the Vault set. As for my thoughts on these palettes, I actually like them. My palettes, by the way, have that V2, which is allegedly the version 2 of these palettes, but Jaclyn Hill already debunked that conspiracy. I am basing the performance on the price point, which is $15 per palette or $45 for the entire set. The only palette which is comparable in price that I can think of are the ColourPop palettes, which retail for $16. And this retails for $15. The only ColourPop palette I have right now is the ColourPop All I See Is Magic, which retails for $20. I don't see a very big difference in the performance to each other, so I would say that this is worth the price that I paid for. Now, to compare the price point to a local palette like this Jazzy France Sleek Matte Eyeshadow Palette, this is $1,300 or $1,200, and this is around $1,500. I still feel that the Vault palettes perform better than this Jazzy France Sleek Matte Eyeshadow Palette. So really, to each his own, but if you would ask me to choose between one or the other, I would still choose the original Morphe x Jaclyn Hill palette. The matte shades of the Vault palette are definitely harder to work with and more powdery than the original Jaclyn Hill palette from Morphe. But the shimmer shades of the Vault palette are almost similar in performance to this original palette. So in general, this really performs beyond its price point. This one is more of you get what you pay for. This one exceeds expectations. But despite that judgment, I hope everybody in the beauty community becomes kinder to each other and kinder to Jaclyn Hill. The witch hunt, the name calling, and the insults are highly unnecessary and really unbecoming of people who are trying to be beautiful. It's got to be inside as well, inside and out. There you go, everybody. I hope the tutorials and reviews helped you in deciding whether to get these palettes or helped you in using the palettes that you already have. Please don't forget to let me know if you'd like me to create more wearable everyday looks with these palettes, as I've done really dramatic ones. Well, that's it, everybody. I hope you hit the subscribe button, especially if you'd like to see those more everyday looks, so that you are notified in case I decide to do it, if there are enough comments. It only takes 5 seconds versus the possibly 16 hours I will be pouring into editing this video. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!
I'm YouTube famous now. Available 2018. The album Dead AF. Alright, let's get right into this video. If you have
Then we're gonna go back to that shade forest. Then we're gonna go back to that green. And then we're gonna go back to inside job with the same pencil brush, and we are gonna what? Next, we're going with Rockstar to smoke up. At the end of the video, I will also share the shimmer shades of the palette are not as exceptional. The matte shades of the Vault palette are definitely more powdery and more difficult to work with than the original, especially to JACLYN Hill, who is the creator of these palettes.